Here's the ready-to-narrate script. Before a World Cup match kicks off, there's a room most fans never see. And on a shelf in that room sits a rack of official match balls, the most iconic objects in the entire sport. But they're not being scrubbed down, they're not being pumped up. They're plugged in, charging, sitting there drawing power like a shelf of forgotten smartphones. The most stubbornly analog object in all of sports, a thing we've been kicking around dirt fields for over a century, quietly turned into a gadget with a battery. And nobody really told you. So let's talk about what's actually inside that ball, because it's stranger than you'd guess. The connected match ball reportedly carries a small motion sensor. And here's the clever part. It's suspended at the exact geometric center of the ball. Not glued to the inside of the panel, not tucked near the valve. Dead center, held in place by a kind of internal suspension system. And there's a real engineering reason for that. A soccer ball lives or dies on balance and feel. Players can sense a few grams in the wrong place. So, if you're going to smuggle electronics inside the one object that a billion people have opinions about, you have to hide it at the one point where it won't throw off the spin, the flight, or the touch. That sensor runs on a small rechargeable battery. And that single design choice is the whole reason these balls need to sit on a charger before anyone's allowed to kick them. Now, the number that gets thrown around is that this sensor samples motion roughly 500 times every second. 500 snapshots of where the ball is and what's happening to it in the space of a single tick of a clock. Every time the ball is struck, grazed, headed, or barely brushed, that moment gets captured in a stream of incredibly fine-grained data. And on paper, that sounds like a staggering leap. But I want to be honest with you about whether that figure is a genuine breakthrough or just a nice big marketing-friendly number. Here's what actually happened. We stopped pretending humans can referee at this speed. Because here's where it actually earns its keep. And it's not where you'd think. The point of sampling that fast isn't to make the ball smart. The ball isn't making decisions. The point is timing. In modern officiating, the hardest calls aren't about where something happened. Cameras are already brilliant at where. The nightmare is when. The exact instant a striker's boot touches the ball as a teammate breaks past the last defender. Freeze the video a single frame too early or too late, and an offside call flips from onside to off. A goal counts, or it doesn't. The human eye simply cannot resolve that moment. But a sensor logging touches hundreds of times a second can hand officials a precise timestamp, the exact heartbeat the ball was struck, and pair it with the camera-based tracking that already maps everyone's position. So the ball isn't refereeing the match, it's just providing an unarguable clock. And once you accept that the ball is a device, everything about how it's handled starts to change. A battery has a lifespan, it drains. Which means every one of these balls has a window, a stretch of usable time per charge. And after that, it needs to go back on the rack. So behind the scenes, you now need people whose job is to keep balls cycling through chargers, tracking which ones are topped up and which ones are running low. Think about what that actually means. The humblest, most disposable piece of equipment in the game, the thing a kid buys for a few bucks and leaves out in the rain, has quietly become a managed fleet of devices with uptime to worry about. There's a logistics operation now, for a ball. And here's the moment that gives the whole thing away. Suppose a ball's battery dies in the middle of playing. Do they stop the World Cup? Halt a global broadcast? Freeze 90,000 people in a stadium because a AAA-sized cell ran flat? Of course not, they just swap it. A fresh, charged ball rolls on. The old one goes back to the rack, and the match never even notices. Which sounds trivial, but sit with it for a second, because it's actually the most revealing detail in this entire story. Here's what actually happened. We stopped pretending humans can referee at this speed. Because a soccer ball used to be the one piece of sports equipment you could drop in a field and forget about for 20 years. No firmware, no charge cycle, no expiration. You'd dig it out of a garage and it still worked. Now it's a sensor platform with a battery that has to be babysat before the biggest matches on Earth. And I think the quiet lesson buried in that charging rack is bigger than soccer. Once you decide something is worth measuring 500 times a second, that thing stops being simple. Forever. The measurement demands power, and power demands maintenance. And maintenance demands a whole invisible system standing behind an object that used to just be an object. The ball didn't get smarter. We just got hungrier for the data hiding inside it. If you like having the hidden machinery of the future pointed out to you, the stuff nobody bothered to mention got weird, subscribe to Brink, and we'll keep meeting you right here at the edge of what's next.